Rob here from D&D Toy Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at the SSR Endgame Joker, a non-licensed Joker figure based on the Batman Endgame comic arc. He comes in a pretty small box that has some nice artwork of the Joker on one side, and a bunch of ha 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 on the back, and SSR on the top. The figure comes in a nice foam tray that holds everything in there really securely. And as for the figure himself, he looks pretty good. We get a fair bit of accessories. First, we get 2 of these knives that look really nice with some nice silver paint for the blades. We get a revolver done in black with a bit of brownish paint for the handle. We get this really long silver revolver, but the barrel on mine is a little bit bent. I don't know if it might be the same on others or different case by case. And we get this bang flag that plugs into the long revolver. Unfortunately, the pattern is only on the one side, so if you want to have Joker holding it, you'll only be able to have him facing from one side. And the the rod doesn't really plug in very securely, so it falls out really easily. We also get this axe, which to be honest looks kind of cheap. It's just done up in the base plastic colors with a tiny bit of paint for the edge, and it's okay, but doesn't look all that great. For hands on the figure, we get the relaxed hands that are done in just the straight white plastic that the body is cast in. We get a right hand holding a playing card, which looks pretty good for its size. We get a right fist. We get a trigger holding hand. And for the left, we get a fist. Come on. And a splayed out hand. And you can see these hands all have this wonderful wash over them to make them look like he's wearing kind of dirty gloves. But if you mix them with the relaxed hands that come on the figure, it's going to look really weird because these are just done up in this straight white plastic. And also the hands are my biggest problem with this figure. All of the solicits for the figure showed Joker holding both of his knives, but we don't get any gripping hands that can hold the knives properly. All we get is the trigger hand, and it can kind of hold the knives if you tuck the trigger finger up on that little indent, but it looks a little bit weird. And again, we only get the one hand, so he can't hold the other knife. And as for holding the axe, it just doesn't work. Unless you're having him hold the axe all the way down at the bottom, it's just going to slide right down in his hand. It's honestly kind of disappointing. Now this is the standard version, and the deluxe version comes with a chainsaw, a smoke bomb, and an alternate head where the right side of his face is all burned up. As for Joker himself, he looks pretty good. The suit is made of decent quality material, but the fit isn't quite as good as what you would find on, say, a Mezco 112 figure. The head sculpt looks really great, although the hair maybe isn't quite accurate to the source material. But, Joker's got this really maniacal grin on his face like he should. Looks dangerous and crazy and just like Joker should look. The shirt here is only held closed by this one little button here. So when you're moving the figure around, it's really easy to accidentally pull the shirt apart, or have it the inside come untucked over the top of the shirt. And it can be a little frustrating, but it's not a huge deal. The tie is quite nice, nice length, looks good. The pocket handkerchief looks nice. The pants kind of look like he's wearing track pants instead of suit pants. But I see there you can see the shirt just keeps popping apart like that. But, you know, cover up the waistband and it looks fine. As for articulation, the head and neck are one solid piece, and they attach on a ball joint down in the torso. So you get plenty of movement, but sometimes because you're moving the head and neck together at the same time, it can look a little weird depending on the pose. Like if he's looking up, then it looks like he's arching his neck way back instead of tilting his head like a normal person would. The shoulders go all the way out to the side on a nice stiff joint. There's bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and the wrists are on a ball and hinge, so you can hinge in and out, swivel it around, and you get up and down. The pegs, though, for switching the hands out are really, really small, so I would be really careful when you're changing the hands. We get a ball joint inside the upper torso, so we get plenty of movement. Crunch forward, back, twist side to side, a little bit of tilt, and then the same at the waist. There's another ball joint. The hips are on ball joints and go pretty far out to the side and aren't really hindered by the suit all that much. Joker can kick really far forward and just a little bit back, but enough. We get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and then the ankles are on the same kind of joint as the wrists with a ball and a hinge, and that brings me to my second problem with this figure. The post for the hinge goes straight down into the foot instead of at an angle like most figures would do it. So it can make getting these feet to look natural and flat on the ground really difficult. Because, you know, if you got the feet pointing straight forward, then you've got no tilt. If you want to get a bit of tilt going on, then, you know, if you want to have the nice wide stance, if the joint will work with me, you want to have his feet angled out pretty far, then you got no forward and back. So the ankles can be a little frustrating to work with compared to, you know, something like a Marvel Legends that has it in at an angle, or the Mezcos that just have the giant ball for an ankle. But it's not the end of the world. And so for some size comparisons, here he is next to a Mezco PX Sovereign Knight Batman and the Mezco second Wonder Woman. So he's a little on the tall side, but he fits in okay. And then here he is next to a Mafex Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Spider-Man. So you can see he just towers over Spider-Man. So overall, he's not a bad figure. If you can get him at a decent price, then, and you know, if like me you missed out on the Mezco Jokers, then he makes a pretty good substitute, and he looks decent with the Mezco figures. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.